Welcome to the Nuff Said podcast. We are talking Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, episodes 16 and 17. We kind of missed a week, so here we are.
Did you just do episodes with a Z?
I did. That was a tribute to Alil and his big Entertainment Earth giveaway that they have going on.
All right.
Everything's with a Z. Alil, how did you get those cool Star Wars toys?
You can go to the League of Geeks podcast website. That's www.theleagueofgeeks.com. And just register on the sidebar right there, just your name and email address, and you can register to win a $100 value 4-pack from the Star Wars Black Series. It's some really cool stormtroopers, and if you want to see what they look like, there's a picture there. And there's also a review that I posted on YouTube, so check that out.
Check out the League of Geeks YouTube channel, and you can see Alil do a review of the toy on there.
Yes, I was called Bane because I was in the review.
So what if Rob and I entered and we wound up winning? Would there be a little backlash out there?
You enter fair and square. It's a random drawing. It's a randomizer app thing that you built in, so we have no control who wins.
Wait a minute. Wait, then I got to subscribe to your email?
No, we're not taking any emails out of this.
Oh, you're not? I thought this was to drive emails.
No.
Oh.
It's just for our listeners because they're amazing.
Oh, excellent. Well, then
I thought it was because your wife was making you pare down on some of the action figures.
No, these aren't mine. These are actually going to be shipped directly from Entertainment Earth.
Yeah, it's Entertainment Earth, which Entertainment Earth we also have as an affiliate sponsor. So in the future, we're going to be doing the same kind of thing with cool Marvel stuff and other stuff from our shows. So this is really good. Get in the habit of joining these contests, and we'll promote both League of Geeks and then the different shows that we have when we do them. So cool. I'm excited. And I tweeted out too. So anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, just go to Nuff Said Podcast Twitter, and you'll see a tweet with an actual image of the toy. And you'll also see we're starting some new things, like we are actively giving out Nuff Said no prizes. And I started tweeting that out today, and boy, did we get a good response. So keep following that. You can enter every week. We're going to do these. I was going to do a monthly, but I think we're going to just put these out every week, just trying to get people to join the Twitter account and to share things. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, did we introduce ourselves? Or what do we do at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah.
Some show. I don't know. Something I watched.
All right.
Are you rambunctious Rob Southgate?
Apparently. Are you jocular Jack Wengrosky?
Apparently so.
And with us is angular Alil Kunica.
I don't think I'm very angular. I think I'm more circular. That's true.
There's no A that begins with or C that begins with an A. So, well, there is one.
Maybe you could go acircular, like non-circular, but kind of in a circular way.
I could think of one.
Sure, there you go.
One hole that begins with an A that you might be.
Yeah, I'm sure you could, Rob. You can save that for the Patreon subscribers.
Right. Hey, wait, more business. We started our Patreon again this week, and we got one.
All right. What are we selling?
No, we're not selling anything. On I have a podcast that I do called New Media Lab, and we talk about podcasting and blogging and all that kind of fun stuff. And it's really just a chance for me to learn stuff. I get really cool guests that know a lot more than I do. And this time I had somebody on from Patreon. That episode's going to post in the next coming week. And she was so awesome. And she gave me all these tips. And she was like, you guys should totally be doing well on Patreon. I told her what we did in the past. She really liked our Daredevil thing. But she was like, you know what? Your listeners should be supporting you. And she made a great point. She's like, you know, for a quarter an episode, which is nothing, or 10 cents an episode, it makes all the difference. And we do it month to month. So we said you can do as little as $1 a month. And think about it. We've got, 3, 4, sometimes 5 shows in a week. You're paying $1 for the whole month. And you know what? I'm glad we did it because it does kind of get me motivated. It's got more reason to do certain things. I don't know. It's kind of the fuel that keeps us going.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So are you ready for the amazing segue I'm about to go to?
Sure.
So now that we have our team assembled, how about the Secret Warriors? It took 16, I know, right? 16 episodes to assemble since the assembly of the team. And we finally got the Inhuman Secret Warriors. How awesome was that?
I thought it was cool. Alil, what'd you think of that?
It was fine. It wasn't.
Oh, it's just fine. I thought it was cool.
That was typical of Lil.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
You know what it is? It's I like the semblance of the team. I like them bringing the team in for a mission. I just think that I don't want to get to the end of 17 already, but it just seems like I would have liked a few episodes of the team bonding. So then when the spoiler at the end of the episode hit harder, it hit hard for us, and like it's going to hit hard for Coulson and a lot of the others, but I don't think it's going to really matter to Yo-Yo and the other guy as much. At least we don't see it as much. And I would have liked the Inhumans to feel more of an impact, because like I look at it this way, like, so she's, well, that's fine. I'm going to spoil it. I don't care.
Yeah, just spoil it. Who cares? I mean, if you haven't seen the episode, you're listening to us. I mean, ridiculous.
Yeah, so Daisy's infected by Hive Ward, and so she's the one who turns on the team. And I would have liked it to be, like more impactful to the Inhumans. I think at this point, like Yo-Yo and I can't remember the other guy who melted stuff. What his name was, Joe, right? Was it Joe?
Something like that. Yeah, you know what? They do seem a little. I mean, like they're bonded, but it's not that like crazy bond. When we found out Ward was bad, the team from S.H.I.E.L.D. was super tight.
Right.
So that was like, holy crap. This didn't have that. Even though they're like bonded, they're not. They needed more bonding. I totally agree.
They were both. Yo-Yo and Joe were already there under duress, right?
Right.
They were already like, okay, we did the job, and now what? You're keeping us here, so they're already like almost against S.H.I.E.L.D. by the time they've really joined it, and then they've blown apart the team within an episode and a half.
Right.
So yeah, there's no investment. There's no investment. We don't. If we lost Yo-Yo or Joe, I don't think anybody would care. We barely care. We're just starting to care about Lincoln, and and we haven't even gotten attached to the other two. We could have had 2 or 3 missions, like you say, with them, got attached, and then all of a sudden, boom. Then everybody's blindsided by Daisy, who, by the way, is now Sky again.
Yeah, did you catch that? They called her Sky?
Yeah.
But you know what? Here's the thing. I think that you're right. There should have been 2 or 3 missions, but I also think that they did it right, that it should have been this episode where they had the encounter with Hive that she got infected. But then we should have they should have done something where we had clues that something was up. But maybe as the viewer, the casual viewer, you're not catching them. But then when they reveal them, they go back and it's like the Sixth Sense. Like you're like, oh my gosh, of course this was going on. And then you realize, oh my God, it's Daisy. So you would have had like 3-4 episodes of this building where maybe it's not even at the forefront. But then when it goes back and you see that it was that moment with Ward 3-4 episodes before, all of a sudden you see, a few instances where this was going on, and it would have had a lot more impact. Frankly, the other thing is now, and I did think we're busting on it. I'm actually not busting on the episode. I liked it. It was rushed, but I liked the episode. I liked that there was all that question, and they did play it well where you really thought it could have been any of them. I mean, each one of them, you're like, sketchy. Why is he not here? Lincoln essentially is dead, and they're saying he regenerates dead tissue, and I'm like, it's got to be Lincoln. So it did keep me guessing. Here's where I have a problem, though. There's no way Sky is a bad guy. They made it very clear that they're going to clear up the infection. So to me, there were no stakes in it. And when they're saying someone from the team is going to die, I'm like, I don't need somebody from the team to die. It doesn't need to be every season somebody dies. And I don't know. I don't really need it. I want to see the Secret Warriors so that every few episodes we get a Secret Warriors mission and we get some real, really cool superhero mission going on. And the rest of the time they are the agents doing their thing.
But that's the way the modern series has gone.
Yeah, but they're going to kill somebody now. So now what do? Kill one of the Secret Warriors? Now you're down to 3. Kill one of the agents? Well, if you kill the agents, we kind of don't have any agents left.
But they've already done that like so many times, it's tiresome. I mean,
right, don't kill one. Don't kill one. Let's get into some storytelling.
But they've already told us they're going to do it.
I know.
I mean, they're not going to listen.
So, I mean, they could kill Ward, technically. I know they've killed him and now he's Hive, but they could kill that character for good.
I don't think that's going to happen for a while. I think what's going to happen is that they're going to cure Sky. She's going to go back to being Daisy. Maybe. I think maybe one of the reasons that we didn't get invested in Yo-Yo and Joe is that they're still expendable. Like,
I don't want them to be.
I mean, they're both red shirt ensigns. I'm telling you right now.
You know what could happen potentially?
Yeah.
Is Coulson. I know that it's the Coulson show. It's not anymore. And this is a sticking point between TV and movie because Joss Whedon did that whole thing about how he didn't want Coulson back in the movies because he's not dead. By not putting him in the Avengers 2, it really kind of screwed that over. If they killed Coulson, they can then start crossing over S.H.I.E.L.D. into the Marvel Cinematic Universe a little bit easier. Not that they're going to bring, we need the Secret Avengers to help out with Spider-Man. That's not going to happen. But they could very well have them walking around the deck of Helicarrier.
Maybe, but I think through the history of the whole series, I don't think they're going to do it before. I don't think they're going to do it now because they can't even call the characters sometimes by their real names. Some cases they will, but they call Hive and they call Daisy. But there's been other instances where, we know that this guy is going to be, a character, and they just kind of hinted towards it. So I don't know.
You guys keep saying that, but I don't know if that's necessarily been the case. Maybe the character's not named yet. Like Mac. Mac is that Axe character. Now, that character is not a common character that we all know, but he is definitely that character, especially when you see... did you notice they did it again this week? He's sitting in Coulson's office. The friggin' axe is sitting right behind him.
Right.
I know it's in Coulson's office, but every time it's sitting there, I'm like, come on, just say that's the guy's name. But it's not like on The Flash where we have a character going, ooh, I'm going to name you this. So they're not getting their names that way. So maybe that's what they're playing with as opposed to trying to shuffle names because it still is Disney that owns it.
Right.
And it's not, I think the sticking point goes back to Alil talking about Taskmaster, and he's clearly not Taskmaster. In fact, Taskmaster is going to show up in something else now.
Right.
Alil.
No, I agree.
You've gone quiet.
No, well, I'm trying to... You're right. I mean, they ruined that aspect because you could have brought in Hive and it could have been anybody.
Right.
It didn't have to be Ward, and Ward could have had a better arc because now, I mean, all that's left for Ward is to die. I mean, that's really it.
Right. Because they're going to put him on another planet or he's going to die.
Yeah. There's no bringing him back. Even if you separate Hive from Ward's body, there's nothing there. I mean, he's dead.
And
there's no more Ward.
Inhumans, it negates your Inhumans too.
Yeah.
It's like introducing kryptonite into Superman. As soon as there's kryptonite, he's worthless. As soon as Ward is there, he can infect any of them. They cannot have Inhumans fighting an Inhuman.
Yeah, but isn't he the nuclear option? We have Lash. Lash is that.
Well, that's how they're going to kill him. They're going to release Lash. He's going to kill Ward, and then he'll probably sacrifice himself killing Ward.
Do we know that? Do we think that that's what it is? I know that's what kind of Lincoln kind of dropped, and somebody else said something about like Lash brings the balance, and then Hive is the imbalance. But
he is. That's it in the comics too.
But don't you think that with Hive's power that he can infect Lash?
Oh,
I don't think so because
aren't we dealing with a lot more power then? Isn't it getting scary power that they can't beat until like Thor shows up and hits him with a hammer?
I mean, that's what I'm thinking here because like right now we don't know what the power is for either of these characters. We know that Hive can infect Inhumans.
Yeah,
Lash is an Inhuman. I mean, all he has to do is basically go up a nose canal and go into an ear canal and he's gone. I didn't see Lash have all that stuff covered.
He goes to a different canal. It's very scary.
That's for the Patreon account.
I don't know, but it makes sense. Hive is supposed to be the character that's supposed to be in command of the army. And I mean, we're still talking about like this is an infection. This isn't an infection. This is the guy that's supposed to keep everybody in line and control the army. But Lash, I think, is that that culling aspect that he's the Reaper, and I don't think that you make any Inhuman.
Even made a reference to him not going after every single one. He was in a room with Sky and didn't attack her.
Right. So there's a pattern. Like if you're not worthy or you're out of line, and if his character senses that Hive isn't there to control the army, that he's just there to take control of the Earth. It seems like a pretty short step to say, hey, this is something I need to take out of the gene pool. Like you say, I think it would have been, like Alil said, it would have been a much better use of resources to have him as Taskmaster, because I don't think you can let Hive go on without completely taking over the entire planet in a very short span of time.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that was where it was kind of starting to go, too, where I was watching it going, well, he's going to get really powerful really quickly, and unless an Avenger steps in, he's going to win.
And that's not happening.
It's not happening, no.
No.
Especially if it's Hawkeye.
Right, and they're going to be pretty much preoccupied with Civil War for a good bit of time from now until the end of summer.
I do that they were adding that element in here. They've been adding it all season, dropping little things about that, not trusting the Inhumans, the two different sides. I was definitely getting kind of a Civil War uneasiness through this, which is cool. Keep doing it.
Speaking of uneasy, how about how into Sky, like the Word and Sky pair, it was almost like instant lovers, and she's like the look in her eyes of like this loyal lover kind of thing. That was
after he infected her?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We didn't see that until she revealed himself.
Right.
And she's talking to Lincoln, and the look in her eyes, don't you understand? He's the answer to the emptiness. He's the answer to everything. Yeah.
That's because she's infected. But yeah, that was.
Well, nuts. Yeah, that's my whole point. Is all of a sudden you hear the music in the background, like do do do.
No, you know what it is?
When she showed up at that thing where Lincoln was, I knew it immediately, and it was what he said, but it was before he said it. As soon as she walked up, I was like, how is she out of containment? And like the third line in, he goes, how are you standing here? Like, oh my gosh, it was great how they if you caught it, they made it really obvious like that.
Yeah.
But they didn't make it so, I don't know, it still had an impact. When he said it, it still had an impact. So I think that was actually pretty good writing right there. I thought that was cool.
It was. I really like that.
It was, but this all have you guys ever seen the movie The Faculty?
Yeah.
This is what this is. This is exactly what this is. A parasite that spreads itself around and infects everybody to feel euphoric. Everybody feels great. Everyone conforms. All the Inhumans are going to conform, and that's what the writing feels like to me. It feels like right here at this point, take away Coulson and them when they're working with the Inhumans. It feels like it's a teen
like
horror
a
movie,
sci-fi.
Yeah, it's like I'm waiting.
It's got the alien invasion.
The Alien Apocalypse, which is great with Bruce Campbell. What a great, terrible movie. Yes. But it's just like that. They're how they're talking to each other, how she's, saying we instead of I, and all this kind of weird stuff. And I was like, that's the first thing that jumped into my mind. I was like, where's Josh Hartnett? Where's, Elijah Wood going to be popping out of here? And, what's going to be the simple cure that
I can answer that question.
Simmons.
I think Josh Hartnett is sweeping up at a convention.
No, he was in that Showtime show.
Oh yeah, he's in Penny Dreadful.
Penny Dreadful, yeah.
Yeah. When he's not doing that, he's sweeping up at different cons.
Man, you're such a hater. Just like with Lou Ferrigno, man. You always mess with him.
I love Lou Ferrigno. I love him. He does clean up after the cons, but he is the best. How dare you, sir, call me a hater?
You are.
No, I'm a lover, not a hater. Come on. So
speaking of
Jack's uncomfortable.
Speaking of lovers, what about Fitz and Simmons getting back into it?
Yeah.
Started finishing each other's sentences. The next thing they're holding hands and now they're kissing.
Yeah.
She's like weird.
So that
Quit
means they're going to
wasting
kill
your time.
one of the two of them, right?
The weirdest thing about that whole scene was, for some odd reason, they kept focusing in on the door next to Fitz.
Yes.
So the whole time I'm watching it with my wife, and she's like, somebody's coming through the door. Something's happening to the door. Something's going to pop out of the door. Something to the door. And like they kept lingering, like it kept focusing back in on the door. I understand there was doors on both sides. It just felt weird. Like you're sitting there,
the
like,
same thing, and I also felt when the bond happened. Okay, that happens right at the end of the episode. I thought for sure it was going to come back with the little cap at the end, and it was going to be something coming through that door. I totally caught that, Alil.
Yeah, I caught the vibe, but for me, I thought it represented what was going on the outside. Like they're having their little moment, and then the door signifies, "Hey, yes, we're coming
out there.
There's another world out there that's completely falling apart." And I think that kind of, it's like it forces you to take that out of a little bit of the focus. It's not about Fitz and Simmons. It's about the Inhumans world is now completely falling apart within the S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, I was totally looking at that door, and I, even when everything went down and the place is falling apart and everything, I was thinking somebody's going to come through that door in the tag at the end, and I thought for sure, somebody's going to die. It's going to be one of the two of them, and that is going to be the worst. Don't do that. I think that at this point, I think Coulson would be a good bet, but I think that's not going to happen. I think the safest bet is May. I think her story arc, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, she's already lost her husband. He's not coming back. He's supposed to be changed for the last time, right?
Yeah.
So he's not coming back.
But he did take that medicine, so we don't know what that does.
Right. Well, I can't get into like way too many conjectures without saying, you've got to complete. Is her story complete?
I think they forgot to write her in this season, and I think that she's an easy one for the writers to kill off now. Unfortunately, May is awesome, but I think she's going. You can't kill Mac because then you're going to get labeled for, every time they have a black character, they kill him off. I mean, that keeps happening. So you can't kill him. Please don't.
Yeah,
I like Mac. You can't kill the new Secret Warriors except Lincoln. I thought he might go because the way they kind of transformed his story this week, I thought, okay, they're trying to give him enough story that we care so that when he dies, we care he dies. But once again, I think you're down to a team of 3 then, and I think that's not a team. That's that's 3 goofballs sitting around in their underpants.
Right. And I think we don't want anybody to die. I think that's clear.
Somebody's going to die.
Right, because they already said it. But, I want to get back to the May thing. One thing I want to remind you of is she kicked what's his name's butt in the room where he couldn't. That was
a good scene.
Right. I think that might Gabriel Gaiam.
Yeah, that was a good scene when she was fighting him. Finally, we got her kicking some butt again.
Right. Well, what do you do with somebody that has no powers against people that can, that can wrench your insides just by pointing at you?
Hey, is Medusa dead? I mean, they said he was dead, but then his body temperature was high and everything. Are they going to have him pop up?
At first I thought that was a possibility, but I think the fact that his body was
brain out.
Right.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I was like, what are you talking about? She sliced his head open.
Wait a minute. They did the same to me, and I'm still walking around, and I'm fine.
Oh.
Yeah, they were carrying around his brain. I think at first, because his body temperature was completely normal a bunch, that amount of time after death, and I kept thinking, man, he's just going to wake back up. But then what that was the that's how they found that the hive infection works. That's how it gets in there. Cool. And so cool. the normal body temperature was the organism in the brain creating the heat, and that's how they figured it out. We thought it was a mechanism of rebirth or something, but no, that showed the infection, that showed him the mechanism and where so. But no, yeah, they spooned his brains out. He's done.
I want to switch gears. I want to go to the first of the 2 episodes, to 16. There's really not a lot to talk about with this one. There's a lot of stuff that happened, but it was really Gideon's flashback. I got a question, though. Did either of you go back and try to watch when they first showed the old men doing the stones? I wonder if we saw a nick in a stone.
We did. That's how he knew to pull the stone.
We saw
but
that.
Did we?
No, I mean in the episode in last season when they showed the old men with the stones. Did we see Gideon's father? Not obvious, but was there a subtle thing where, like, we saw him pull a stone that had a nick in it?
Well, I'm going to say no, because we would have said, yeah, no, I saw that.
Yeah, but it was so long ago, and if it's something really tiny and subtle, I think that would be a really, really sweet move on their part. I did like seeing Whitehall back for a brief second. Yeah.
And it kind of didn't surprise. This was supposed to be a big surprise, but Gideon didn't want to be any part of this in the first place. And when he found out about the stone, it pretty much kind of made sense. And if you're going to do it.
What do you mean he didn't want to be part of it? He wanted to be part of Hydra. He didn't want to risk his own life. He was just like the father. He was a coward when he's, asking everyone else to sacrifice. And then he sacrifices his own brother. How sweet was that his brother was the one inside of Hive talking to him?
Well, but it wasn't even just his brother. He's got everybody's memory.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Everybody's killed, so it's like he knows.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the only thing that applied to this scene was the fact that his brother was in the mix. And it was the one thing where the writers, I think, did have that nice little subtlety, because when Gideon first starts figuring out, you've got Ward's memory, you've got everybody's memory, and Ward turns around and says, is there something you'd like to ask one of them? And I knew there was something about that. And it was like, when it finally got to this, it was like, oh my God, they actually got me with something subtle. It was like, that was awesome.
Yeah, I thought this was cool. And there was an allusion to the Illuminati in it too. Did you guys catch it? It was a really obvious thing when he said, this is most illuminating. I was like, oh, come on, man. You're talking about the old men and you call them illuminating. You're obviously talking Illuminati, which makes sense in this universe, in this MCU, that we're going to eventually get there. I think that's how they solve the problem of like Tony Stark aging out. They make the Illuminati and they start going in that direction. They can do that after Infinity War.
Yeah.
Now people are older, and at that point, I'm telling you, mark my words, Disney and Fox are going to have it worked out for the Fantastic Four. We're going to have Reed Richards in the Illuminati with Doctor Strange. Tony Stark will be there. It's going to be awesome, and they're going to be old.
Wait, did I get something backwards before? Gideon did want to be. He didn't want anything to do with what's the one that we just got back, the doctor. He was trying to get them to save themselves, right?
What?
And Gideon, when they go to visit, what's his name, to Whitehall, they go to visit Whitehall. Isn't Whitehall trying to get them to doing the ceremony? And Gideon doesn't want any part of it. He just wants to do the ceremony and go on, right?
Right. He wants them to do the ceremony because he believes in that. He just doesn't want to risk his own life. So but he's willing to let his brother risk his life.
Yeah, but I think the thing is up until that point where he found out that the dad had the notch in it, which he didn't know about, he was ready. I think he was ready to sacrifice. He didn't want anything to do with that whole thing. And then all of a sudden, when it really came down to it, Gideon went the other direction, actually kind of with Whitehall. And then the brother who was willing to listen to Whitehall and skip out on it was the one that got sacrificed. And of course, I really thought Ward was, talking about things in the show. They were really going to the fact that we've already seen Gideon's death. We've already been told it's going to be Hive. It's just a matter of time.
Right. Because
the daughter has aligned with.
Goes along with Daisy saying, yeah, somebody's going to die. Because she saw it, we saw it through Gideon, and it happened. So we know this is going to happen. Although,
so I was ready for Gideon to die.
Do we know somebody's going to die from Daisy's thing? We see somebody floating. they've gone out of the atmosphere, but I don't see somebody dead. Do you?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what you're referring to because the thing that she saw, or everything has come to pass. But I don't know what you're referring to.
Well, the only thing we've seen that she sees where she says somebody's going to die is that moment when it looks like they're out of the atmosphere, and like you see the cross float by, and you see somebody kind of their hands kind of float up. That's the vision she has?
Oh, right.
But what is that? I mean, I don't see somebody dying there.
But she already got one of those wrong. So I think we can kind of
somebody's going to die. I don't know if that is the death.
They told us that Daisy was going to die, and this was how they went through this whole exercise in how to save her, and then the whole scenario didn't quite come true as we were told it was going to be, although it was shown as the vision was shown. Like when Coulson shot Daisy, he shot her reflection. And of course she was never in danger of being shot.
Right.
So this, the whole death thing, somebody's going to die, could be another red herring.
Even though they keep saying by the end of this season, somebody's dead. All right, let's take bets. Who do you guys think is going to die? Alil, you go first.
It's going to be something cheap like Yo-Yo, just because they've been playing with that necklace. But maybe that's the red herring, just like this episode had a lot of red herrings. I'm just going to stick with Yo-Yo. She's got no value.
Jack, who do you say?
I mean, Yo-Yo really seems expendable. She's never been invested in the team. When push comes to shove, she's all ready to go. The other option is Joe because he's already freaked out. And then I just don't think you can kill one of the core members because we're only down to like 4 people of the original team, and how many? We've already lost the entirety of the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. except for a handful of people. So it's Yo-Yo or Joe makes sense, but I think it's a red herring. I don't think somebody's going to die, but not necessarily from the team. Just like we were told that Malik was going to die. We've already seen his death. And in fact, he did die, but not the way it was. And when it was what we thought was his turn, became his daughter. I mean, his brother was in there. How ooky was that when they Uncle Bob started kissing the girl? I haven't even finished it yet. It gets better. You're getting all excited, but at the end of the sentence, Uncle Bob was kissing his niece, and and then how gross was that?
So gross. Yeah.
Who's your uncle, baby? I mean, come on.
All right, I am saying it's May. If I had to bet, I think Coulson is the gutsy move, but I don't think it's Coulson, actually. I think it's May. I think it's because they've spent this character now. Her husband's Lash. They have no reason for the cavalry anymore. They've got the Secret Warriors. And I think that they lost their way with this character. She's an easier one to kill, and being a core member, it can have a lot of impact on the other agents. I think she's the one to go. Well, it'll drive Coulson crazy.
I think they've already blown their chance with the Secret Warriors. Unless they resurrect it, that group's already dead.
No, I don't think so. I think they're going to spend more time building that up now.
Maybe, but you got to get Daisy back in the mix, and you got to get half the team on board, which they spent half the episode talking in Spanish with subtitles because they didn't want to have to talk.
This was one episode of that. I think you're going to have a few episodes of team building before it's like, bam, they're gelled. Because they were very much treating it like the Secret Warriors in the comics. And why would you burn that out? You've got these cool superheroes. You have a superhero show now. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I don't know. I don't think they're treating it very well, and they rushed through it, much like the opportunity they had to do with Ward. I think
I also don't think, Jack,
where they're usually going with the long game. I think they're now just too short-sighted in the game.
I don't think they can go back and make it a show about S.H.I.E.L.D., about espionage. The show that we were told it was when it started is no longer even a possibility. It's got to be a superhero show now. Even though I like that other idea, I don't think that's possible, which is why I think May is your best bet. Coulson has the magic hand. She has nothing. Fitz and Simmons have the magic brains.
Right.
She has nothing. I mean, Mac is Axe. They haven't told us, but he is.
Right. And, we already found out that the whole cavalry bit was kind of a ruse.
And we got that whole story. It's all done.
Right. I mean, she's not, the cavalry really isn't even the cavalry.
Right. Did you guys read? There was a cavalry comic Marvel put out. Did you guys read that one? It's on Marvel U right now.
No, I did not.
Don't.
Well, thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, I'm just telling you because I saw the cover. It's May on the cover. I'm like, yes. Started reading it. I like her. She's barely in it. It's about her training some goofy trainees, and they go through an exercise, and then AIM or Hydra or somebody shows up in the middle of the exercise. And I was like, by the end of it, it's only 23 pages. By page 10, I was already like, okay, just get it over with. It was really bad. It was really bad.
So what takes us in the episode from 16 to 17, really? I mean,
this is all kind of
them saving Coulson and them.
Yeah, her saying, Secret Warriors assemble. That is what took us into 17. And then 17 ends with Daisy destroying their S.H.I.E.L.D. base again. I mean, what the hell?
Here's another thing. If Daisy's already turned, and she's under control, I mean, she was the one that kind of brought them all into the room, and she could have, maybe she doesn't have any persuasive powers like Hive does. Maybe only he can spread the disease or whatever it is. But at that point, why didn't she let them destroy the team? If now she's under Ward's control, she could have accomplished everything right there, and then gone to a Hive and reported in, and all would have been done.
Right.
That was the thing that kind of hurt my brain a little bit, is why did you rescue the team on both sides when you were, at that point she could have convinced them, we need to go down to the planet and, talk to my friend because he's really cool. Yeah. Why not let them kill Coulson and eliminate everything right there? I don't know. What do you think was the thinking behind that?
Alil?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah. I don't know, Jack. I guess it threw us off the trail. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe
that was the only purpose.
Yeah. She was another red herring.
Yeah, could be.
There was lots of them. I mean, the fact that I forgot the other Inhuman's name that they cut his brain open. I mean,
Medusa.
Ward's basically like, now one of us is in there. They cut his brain. They say his temperature is up, so we're all thinking he's the ticking time bomb.
Right. And then it turns out, nope, not him. I mean, they actually, once again, that's what I liked on this episode. They did a good job with that. It's just, I think that it didn't have the impact because we didn't get that team bonded. We needed to get that team further along, and it needed to be like the shocker in, I brought this show up before, Babylon 5. You guys ever watch that?
Yeah.
There's a turning point in, I think it's season 3, where when it happens, you realize everything you've watched is wrong. Like you go, oh my God. Now everything you watch, you question everything you watched if you go back and watch those episodes. That's what they needed to have happen here. They needed that moment when we find out it was Sky who was infected, but it can't happen in one episode. 40 minutes is not enough time to make that work.
And it really should be the kind of thing where once you figure it out, you want to go back and see the last 2 or 3 episodes to see if you can pick up those clues again.
Yes. And like I said, Babylon 5 took 3 seasons to do that.
Yeah. And I've been complaining about that from the beginning. There's no subtlety in the progression of this of Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
And I think we should rename it to Marvel Agents of Red Herring.
Here, I want to talk about one more issue I kind of have with the show, and it's an easy one to to scrub away,
Right,
but Coulson's fighting a demon here with killing Ward. And he talks about it a lot here with him and Malik when they have their conversation. And, they brought it up earlier when even May said basically, you didn't kill him enough. Then you have that scene with Mac talking to Yo-Yo and talking about the weapons and all the stuff that doesn't kill except for the one grenade. And then the fact that we basically have our main hero, our main powered hero kill is kind of a problem for me.
Yeah.
Because this is a show and this is a universe that's set up on, very different than other universes that's set up on trying to do, our heroes don't kill. Our heroes do their best to save and avoid the situation. And she basically murders him in cold blood.
Right.
It's not like it was they were fighting on the roof and she, used her quake powers and, blew him into something and he died that way. But because he was beating her with the battle armor when they were on the roof, she basically just went in there, murdered him straight out cold blood. And I understand she's infected, blah, 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 but it's still.
It's hard to go back to the hero.
Right. And that's going to be the problem that she's going to have coming back.
Batman shoots somebody in the face. It's hard to think of Batman as the hero.
Right.
That's why people are having a problem with Superman, because he's killed how many people in these new movies? You're like, he's not Superman anymore.
Yeah,
right. He's the ultimate threat to the human race, which is, that's just not Superman. But like you say, the extension of the Hive.
Right.
Even she refers to when she's talking to Lincoln, and he gets that really the first biggest sense of awareness when she starts referring to herself as we.
Yeah.
So Daisy isn't even Daisy anymore. She's not Sky. She is just a walking infection. So I can forgive the act of killing in cold blood, but I think her has kind of rode the other side of those rails in the previous episode where they're all worried about what the Inhumans do and crossing those borders. And it was like, she threatened that guy with her powers. Didn't kill him, but I think, But I don't know that. I don't know if you're pretty much under complete mind control that you can really fault her for killing Mal.
I'm not faulting her completely, but
does that discount her as a hero? Is what you're saying?
Yeah. At the end of the day, like there will be that. Not even discounting her as a hero, but there'll be that emotional impact similar to how Coulson's dealing with it now, and what's to come back out of that. Like, and does that fit with our characters in our universe? And right now, this is kind of a turning point. And I guess maybe when I said I had an issue, it's not really an issue. It's just kind of, where are they going to go with this, or is this just going to be wiped away by, your mind control, you're good now?
Right. It's a sticking point. It's one that I hope they address, and if they don't, then it is just washing it away, and I think that hurts the show.
I don't think so, because Coulson had to kill Ward. I think the issue,
making him deal with repercussions from this. He's having a hard time because of what transpired.
Right, but what's the cost? It only cost about 5 minutes of our time watching him grip the wall and confess to Fitz. And that's what's going to happen with Sky, is that even though she was under complete control, in fact, that's not even quite as bad to me. Like, Coulson had to kill Ward.
There's something different about this.
Yeah, but it's not her hand that's doing the killing.
True.
It's why we have in the legal system, that guilty by reason of or not guilty by reason of insanity, where she was not in control. Coulson almost is worse because he did what he needed to do. He had to kill Ward. The problem that what he's dealing with now, and there's not much of consequence, but they needed to delineate it for us that he enjoyed it, and that's what crossed the line. And now he feels really bad. And the fact that now he feels really bad, it puts him back into the hero category. Whereas if they didn't do that, then he's crossed over the line.
Which they played at the beginning of the season. They played with him being darker, so.
Right. And there's a cost. But now he feels bad, so now he's wearing the white hat again, and he feels really sorry. But, once she's gotten rid of the infection, will she even remember doing that? Or will it just be that? It'll be that, maybe not at all. I mean, she won't even feel sorry. Or, so I can't believe I did that. And Simmons will be holding her and patting on the shoulder and said, well, your brain had a massive infection. You're being told what to do.
Yeah.
And she feels bad about it. And then she goes back on the hero side. It's just like Venom, where, that costume kind of takes over.
Right. And makes them nuts. Yeah.
Right. I mean, do you blame Venom, or do you blame the parasite, or do you blame the host?
True. All right. Are we done? Did we get through everything?
I think we did.
I think so.
I want to point out a couple of things. One, thank you so much, Eric, for being a patron. Go to patreon.com/Nuff Said podcast. That is where it's at. And thank you, Eric. That's so awesome of you. On Twitter today, we did this thing where you could get a Marvel No Prize if you retweet and follow, and then we're going to have a contest for that. We're going to run these contests because it's so much fun. But I got to point one out. I don't know if you guys saw it. Ben Marvels at Marvel retweeted, and then he put a meme of Stan Lee saying Excelsior, and then his eyes start glowing green. It's fantastic. That was his reply. He did that. And he retweeted it, and he tagged Stan Lee in it. I'm like, that is fantastic. So I just wanted to highlight that one. But there's a whole bunch of people that did retweeting and favoriting, and it's just really cool. So you want one of those Marvel No Prizes, got to enter the contest. That's how you do it. Just a retweet and a follow. And if you're already following, just a retweet will do. Let's give some social media. Twitter for us. Nuff Said Podcast, at Nuff Said Podcast. I'm at R Southgate. The show is, the website is southgatemediagroup.com/Nuff Said Podcast. But if you don't do the Nuff Said Podcast, you'll get to the main homepage that has all of our shows. We've got 87 shows on there, plus blogs and YouTube. And we started putting Nuff Said on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Southgate Media Group. All right, I'm done. Who wants to go?
At was it Jay Wengrosky? I forget. And you can also catch our show, The Blacklist, and that's about it.
Sweet. And Alil?
I am at LOGEEKZ for the League of Geeks podcast, and you can also check out us on Facebook, Instagram, every place else except for Google because I'm not on there yet, and our website, theleagueofgeeks.com again.
Yeah, and get on there and try to win those Star Wars figures because
definitely
they're fantastic. So cool. All right, that's it. I think we have put a fork in this one. Until next time, Nuff Said.
Nuff said.